how's it going there? So you may be in the market for a tractor. Maybe you got a small hobby farm like we do, and you might be wondering, can a subcompact tractor do what I need it to do, or do I just need something bigger because this one's a waste of money? Well, I'm gonna go you through the two and a half years I've owned it, and show you some of the projects we did with it, and I'll let you know my thoughts there at the end. This is a 2022 BX23S. Now, I was going to actually get a John Deere. I had been looking at the 1025R, but when we moved to Nova Scotia, we moved onto this property, and there was no fencing here for the horses. It was just open pasture. It was just used as a giant yard, basically. So we needed fencing in immediately and a shelter put up, so we had to clear some land for that. And the John Deere was going to take a couple months before it would even arrive, and that wasn't going to work. So I looked at a Kubota. I had looked at the Kubota anyways, and I figured it was a pretty good tractor as well. They're a pretty good brand. Differences were that this one didn't have quite as big a bucket as the John Deere, and it didn't have, I think it might be 100 or 200 lifting capacity pounds different. But other than that, it was pretty similar. And the big difference was with all the attachments that I was getting, it was going to be about a $10,000 difference in price. So that was a big selling feature as well, because even with all this stuff, like I got the tractor with the backhoe and the snowblower and the brush cutter and a box blade, and I think on the no interest financing it was about $45,000. So it's the most I've ever spent on any kind of vehicle. So I think what I'll do is I'll just go over the kind of projects that we had around here and what we actually used the tractor for. Just to let you know kind of some of the upsides and the downsides of the size of the tractor. So first thing is, in the winter, this is a 51-inch snowblower. So it worked very well. We had a storm last year where in this part of the driveway up here had about 3 feet of snow. So it was able to get through that snow. It took a long time, but it got through. And my neighbors who share the driveway only had a truck snowplow, and we had to dig him out because truck snowplow wouldn't work in 3 feet of snow. So yeah, the snowplow worked great. It could have a little bit more horsepower for it because in that much snow it did bog down a bit, and it was really wet, heavy snow as well. So snowblower, I give an A+. Box blade, I've used the box blade quite a bit. We use it all the time to do the potholes in the driveway. So you can put the scarifiers down, dig it up a little bit, and then smooth it out with the box blade, and it works really well. The downfall, I would say, with this box blade is it's, I think, a 48-inch one, which is about the maximum you could put on a tractor like this. And you got to go up and down a driveway like 4 times because the driveway is like 12 to 15 feet wide. So you're making a fair bit of trips up and down. So if you had a 6 or 7 foot one on a bigger tractor, it's like up and down and you're done pretty much. Box blade we also used over here when we had to dig up the turf for the shelter and then just kind of level the ground out. So was useful for there. Are you coming over to say hi? Are you coming over to say hi? Come here. Hi, girl. Hi. Yeah, I know you don't want to get too close to the electric fence. You don't like the glove? You don't like the glove? There you go. And then in the fall, we also used it to pull out stumps here. Well, not stumps, but graded after we pulled out the stumps. And I had a dump truck full of fill that I brought in. And we smoothed it out, leveled this out, so this is going to be where we're going to make the round pen. Now the brush cutter was one of my favorite implements. It probably has been used second most to the box blade, because we use it in the pasture. It was also one of the most satisfying things when we first moved here, because this pasture, we had told the previous owner, don't cut the grass for the last few months so it would grow tall for the horses. But when we got here, it was like 3 feet tall, which is too tall because the horses don't like the grass that high. So I had to mow it down, which was pretty fun with a brush mower. And we use it all the time, like 2 or 3 times a year. I'll come in here and just cut down the weeds, so that gives the grass more sunlight to grow. And like, I use this brush cutter probably in more heavy duty circumstances than it's intended, because I'll go into the forest and brush cut around trees and stuff. So I'll be knocking light lenses off and breaking lenses because I'm backing into tree branches and whatnot. And I think I had to replace this, well, not replace, but get this wheel re-welded because it got knocked sideways. And usually I have to bang out the sides a little bit with a hammer because it might have hit a stump or something when I backed up. So yeah, I use the tractor to its full potential, and probably a little more than its full potential. This is the backhoe that comes with the BX23S. It is just a very small backhoe, and I'll show you what we used it for. But I'll be honest, if you don't have a lot of projects for the backhoe, I probably would skip it, because it's like a $7,000 option on you can get it without the backhoe. And if you only have a few projects, you could just rent a mini excavator, or if you really wanted to, you could probably go to Ritchie Brothers auction and get one of those Chinese like 1-ton excavators for $5,000 to $6,000, and it's probably a little bit more capable than this one, as you can see when I show you the project that we primarily bought this for. So it's up to you. You can decide whatever works better for you, but if you don't need it, I probably wouldn't buy this thing again. I'd probably just get the mini excavator, but you got to remember, it's a made in China thing. You're probably gonna have to repair it from time to time, but if you don't use it a lot, it's probably fine. For the backhoe, the biggest project we used it for was running a water line from down here all the way up to the house, which required digging a 4-foot deep trench to put the water line in. Now, you could have done that with have somebody come out and do that with a mini excavator and probably do it in a day, but we were trying to save money and we had a backhoe, so the plan was, well, we'll use that to dig this. Unfortunately, we hit lots of like limestone, and that little backhoe, it's pretty tough to get through the limestone. So we had it was like a 2-week process to try to get that trench dug, but it got it dug, so like it did the job. It's just going to take a little longer than what you can do it with a bigger piece of machinery. The other thing we use the backhoe for is there's a lot of little stumps. Like there's one over here, Usually smaller ones than that. We would dig out with the backhoe, and then dig around them, and then just put a chain around them and yank them out. So it worked very good for that too. The other implement that I ended up buying, not from Kubota, like a Land Pride option, was this post hole digger, which was the main thing we needed when we first moved in here. It is my least favorite implement to attach to the tractor because it's heavy and it's a pain in the butt, but it does work. The one downfall I will say with a post hole digger on a tractor that's PTO controlled is there are no reverse speeds. You cannot reverse it out of the hole. So I had a couple times where it like dug down into like more clay, and the tractor did not have enough PTO or 3-point hitch strength to lift it back out. With all, it just kept screwing farther and farther. So I found that generally only happened on the bigger augers. Like I think I have this one, which I think this is a 6-inch one, and then I think I have an 8 or 10-inch one, and it's the bigger one that it would dig down and then it couldn't pull out. When I used this small one, that one was fine for the smaller post holes. It'd pull it back out pretty easy. But yeah, there was a few nightmare scenarios where we had to fill the water with hole and create just a bunch of mud in there so it could get this thing back out. Yeah, we use that post hole digger to put all these posts in, which I don't know, I think there's about 200. So there's no way. We tried pounding them in and that was impossible. And yeah, the post hole digger, it did its job well. We had some problems along the driveway here because the driveway had like bigger limestone rock that was put on it to build up the driveway, so putting them along the edge of the driveway like that was pretty hard, and post hole diggers don't like going through rock very much. But all the interior ground ones, those ones all went very smooth and very quick. My final verdict on whether or not I would buy this tractor again is I would definitely buy this tractor again. This thing has like, it's the most important thing on our farm. Now it's gonna take you a little bit longer to do some of the projects, and you might have to make a couple more swipes up and down the driveway. But for me, I didn't have an extra $20,000 or $30,000 to spend on a bigger tractor. Now, would I like one that had like a cab and heat and air conditioning? Definitely, I'd love that. But for what I could afford, this thing got everything done that I asked it to do. So it'll be up to you to decide on your projects what you think you need the tractor to do, whether or not it's going to do it. The one thing I will say that I wish it could do that it couldn't is we use square bales for our hay, and the only reason we use the square bales because I have to bring them from the shop over here, over there where the horses are eating every day with square bales, because this tractor does not have enough lifting power for round bales. So if I was going to get a bigger tractor, that would probably be my main reason, just because we have animals that require hay, so round bales would be a lot less work and time. But if you don't need it for that, yeah. So look for the projects you need it for. I think it'll be a very capable machine for any small, like 5 to 10 acre hobby farm kind of deal. All right, we'll talk to you later. Have a gooder.